Rowena Dooley asking Seoul citizens to report for duty. Rowena Dooley asking Seoul citizens to report for duty.
And greetings, welcome back to Soul Voices. I'm Griffin Gaming RPG, and hey, I'm back. I'm happy to be back. It's good to be with you again. Let me adjust my lighting here. I'm looking a little hot there. There we go. I'm glad to be back to join with you guys on another Saturday afternoon to talk about Star Citizen, and hope you guys are doing well. We had a very busy weekend last weekend. For those of you who got an opportunity to watch CitizenCon via Twitch and via YouTube, as you've been watching replay videos, and for those of you who attended CitizenCon, I hope you guys had a great time. It was a good time, and in fact, today's topic is the importance of CitizenCon. I want to talk about that a little bit today, and whether you attended it in person or whether you watched it or whether you're watching the videos. Whether you're new to Star Citizen or whether you've been around since 2012, we want to hear from you today. This is going to be kind of more of a talking thing. Usually, as you guys know, I pull topics from Reddit and Spectrum, and in a way, I've stayed away from them this week. Actually, not in a way I have. I haven't been on Spectrum or Reddit all week, other than to pull the opening question or the opening topic. Mostly because I've been digesting the week and the weekend. It was a very informative weekend. It was an exciting weekend. It was an emotional weekend, even for some folk. And so today, I'm hoping that we get a chance to talk about that. But I'm really going to need you to give me your feedback because, like I said, I'm not pulling the topics from Spectrum and Reddit, but I am pulling them from three areas that I have broken down in relation to this topic of the importance of CitizenCon. So I just ask that you guys would kind of bear with me and go for the ride. And, I think you'll get it as we get into it. My craziness will start to make some kind of sense. Let's see who we got here today. We got a lot of people in here today. We've got BSL, Black Sky Legion. Good to see you, buddy. Nomad is here. New Soul Sounds, Fast Card Pops in Space. BBG is here, my good buddy BBG, Feathers, Lou Chanel, is that Lou Chanel, SC? I'm going to take a look, I'm going to see what you said, because I know you sent something very nice there, probably. Yeah, a lot of folks, Wild Beast Man, what's up, buddy, from Test Squadron, Best Squadron. Lou says, good evening, hello, in any case from here in France. Oh, bonjour, monsieur, I don't know if there's monsieur or mademoiselle, je m'appelle Griff, ça va? I hope you're doing well. I want to thank you for your visit during the CitizenCon. Oh, yes, for your message being from the Black community in France. I appreciated your message. Thank you for everything you do and your courageous involvement to the whole French team. Good. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, wow. That is such a fabulous thing. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly, truly appreciate that. Not just me, the group. And in fact, is it Luchanel? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably slaughtering French. I've taken French since high school. Stick around, because I think you're really going to be interested in what I have to say at the end of the program, because it is somewhat tied into what you said. So hopefully we'll get a chance to share that with you guys. But anyway, I hope you all are doing well. So let's kick it off and jump right into it, because we got quite a few things to cover today. Let's go here and let's go here. Now, I went back to find what some people thought about CitizenCon. And like I said, I didn't look at anything from this week, from what people have had to say, but I did find something that has been echoed over the last few years. This comment was made back in 2019, but I do remember it going back even maybe a little further than that, maybe just a little bit further. But 2019, 2018, 2019, I kind of remember it. Okay. So here's the very first comment. And I think Fastcart's going to drop this in Twitch. It's an old comment from 2019. And the title was, "Can we stop doing CitizenCon?" This was by Am I Not Gay? Nope, and not open to gay. There you go. That says it all, right? But it says this. It says, "Believe me, I actually enjoy CitizenCon. However, at this point in development, it's time to say enough. I'm tired of having this largely pointless con, which really amounts to a hindrance on development. And I know other people are too. CIG should realize that slowing development on to the point where it basically stops for multiple weeks is not an option at this point." Okay. So I'm sharing this because for the last few years, there have been plenty of people who kind of said that, they should stop well, the phrase that people say is, stop having CitizenCon and focus on the game. Get the game out. That's been kind of the sentiment. And I've heard this several times, not just here, but several times over the years. People who felt like CitizenCon is a waste of resources and also development time, that they think that having the convention is just not necessary. And so I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. You guys who've watched CitizenCon, you've watched ones in the past, you've watched the one maybe even this weekend. What are your thoughts about this? To stop CitizenCon, okay? And I know there are other games in the industry who have cons. It's BlizzardCon and all these other cons. But I would love to hear what you guys think about that. So let's start bringing folks in. I think Kai Zin was the first to the races today. So let's bring him in and we'll get it going. Kai, you there?
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
Hey, bro. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad that you made it home safe.
Yes.
It was great seeing all of your stuff through the week, and I'm excited to play some Baldur's Gate tomorrow with you.
You know what? I want to ask if you guys are open to doing it. Well, we'll talk about it later, because
Right.
I don't know if I can catch up with you guys anymore, but we'll see. I know we've been talking about it, but
Sure.
I don't know if I can swing it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know if I can swing it. Go ahead.
All right. So when you read this thing by this I Am Not Gay guy, it says 2019 on there. That's when he posted it?
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with his statement at the time it was posted. If you look at what CitizenCon was in 2017, 2018, 2019 even, it was a glorified commercial that was run by marketing to keep up interest in the project, and people got pulled for weeks off of doing actual dev work for the purpose of trying to generate revenue. However, I would point out that CitizenCon, they have changed it, and last year's CitizenCon was more so, and this year's CitizenCon for sure was a spectacular success at an entirely different endeavor. It also, I believe, was an exercise in marketing, as all of these things are, but it was much more concrete, much more, hey, this is some stuff that we have done. This is some stuff that, it was the coming out party for Squadron, obviously, but it was, they've changed it. It wasn't, this wasn't sandworms and stuff that you're not going to see for a decade. This is, we intend that everything here you will see in the next 12 months. Now, that's put a huge asterisk onto that because Chris Roberts does not understand how timelines work. But that's actually a good thing, I would argue. Elon Musk also doesn't understand how timelines work. Any genius who's actually trying to not just do what everybody else is doing, but trying to change the world and break the paradigm altogether is going to be absolute shit at trying to give you realistic estimates and whatever. That's part of it, man. You just have to accept that. If you don't accept that, dreamer's gonna dream, then you don't deserve to enjoy the stuff that they give you, because your Steve Ballmers and your what's the guy, Jeff Bezos, your guys that are much more like corporate timeline, button down, super conservative, they don't give you any shit that changes the world like this. So I in fairness to the guy, I think that in 2019, you could make that argument. You really could make that argument much more convincingly that like, yeah, let's stop this. This is a waste of time. This is whatever.
Right.
But 2022's was much more, hey, we're showing you stuff. 2023's was much, much more, hey, this stuff will be in the next 12 months. And let's be honest, let's say if half of it comes in the next 12 months and the other half comes in the following 12 months, that's still the best 2 years of game development of anyone that I've ever seen outside of, I mean, that's rivaling the kind of stuff that Larian Studios did. So like, I think at the time that might have been an okay statement, but I don't think anyone can argue that this year's CitizenCon was not the absolute best CitizenCon ever, both in the amount of excitement that it produced, but also the fact that unlike some previous years that had like a lot of hype, this was tied to much more concrete deliverables that I feel we actually have a good chance of getting.
Okay. Good point.
So I'm excited.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Ciao.
All righty. All right. Let's bring in, let's see. I think it was Admiral Kusanagi was next, if I'm remembering correctly. Admiral Kusanagi, are you there?
Well, I was like this. I was the second to last person, but that's
Were
fine.
you? I'm sorry. I lost track. My apologies. Maybe it was Pops. I'm sorry. But go ahead.
I don't know. You look at, we'll say the 2019 thing. If you told me after 2019 that we weren't going to do CitizenCon anymore, I'd be like, wow, the game kind of just flipped on its head to a totally different direction. Because like always the CitizenCons have been like, this is where we're headed.
Okay.
And the weekly shows or monthly shows were always like, this is where we are. And like, this is what we're working on right now. That like CitizenCon has always been about like, this is what's upcoming. And that hasn't changed for this past CitizenCon. And people like losing their minds over this CitizenCon. And I feel like to crap on the previous CitizenCons, even though like, I know like, even Astropub was like showing the one where they had like the horrible jokes and all that stuff. And I understand that, but I almost felt bad in a way, because it was kind of like they're trying to give you a show. They're not like professional, sitcom people. They're literally just people who were put in a position like, hey, we need to do something for the fans and for the community, and they've learned their mistakes, and that it's a process. And if we don't understand the process, then we just got to take a step back and be like, I can't talk about what's going on because I have no idea what goes on in their boardrooms, no idea, and all that stuff. I really don't.
Okay. Fair.
So
Go ahead.
I really feel they've done a lot for us. Is where I want to stay with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you, Admiral. Appreciate it. All right. Let me think. There's Pops in space. I know Rain was after that. So, Pops, you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Now, what I want to say, I know this person is saying that it's that the time could be spent, developing the game, and from going to the after party. Now, this is what I observed. Going to the after party. First of all, it's on a weekend, and it's like we treat them is if they should have no time off, just continue. We should be whipping them, and all they should do is just dev work or whatever it is. Now I think that's ridiculous.
Okay.
But going to the after party and speaking to them, they were so energized. They came and they talked, and you should see we got to be there and feel their emotions and our emotions with them. It was like, I don't know, what do you call that? Symbiosis? Is that the right word? Together. And they felt as excited as we did. When you notice when the speakers came on stage, you could see their excitement, how they wanted to show. So it's an energy. They go back. They wanted to show it. We were excited to see it, but they were excited to show it. So it was a shared thing. And to say, just get to work, crack the whip on them, and just get us. That's beyond ridiculous.
Okay. Okay. All right, Pops. I appreciate that. Thank you for speaking on behalf of the devs. Cool. All right, let's bring in Rain. Rain is here. Hey, Rain.
Hey, Griff.
How are you? Oh boy, your voice is like mine. Oh,
yeah,
goodness gracious.
I'm a little sick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm always going to bring my dev hat into the convo.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with a lot of what people have been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the devs are not working 24/7, and I feel like people seem to think we found out there are 28 ship artists, not 1,300, right?
Right?
People are like, why are you making, this or that or the other, or this other thing? It's like, I don't know. They got like 6 weapon artists. Do you want the 6 weapon artists to go work on a spaceship? That's not their job.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that these types of comments continue to show that people really just don't know what they're talking about, because the devs need this. They need the break. They need to see us. They need to engage with us. And to come away from this CitizenCon watching Chris nearly fall apart on stage. And obviously this comment's old, but to come away from this CitizenCon and to think anything other than these are not marketing people, these are not like professional speakers, these are devs that care, and they need to show us that they care. And I think I'm rambling a little bit, but
no, I get it. No, you're hitting the target. I hear you. I think that is, and you're coming from that world. So sometimes people don't get me wrong. There's always people at a job who are there to collect a check, right? I mean, that's, they're just trying to survive, right? That's understandable. But sometimes we can get a little cynical and forget that there are people who really do enjoy their work and want to do the work that they're doing, And go ahead.
I think, you could make arguments about where's the budget going and how much did it cost and things like that. But like was already said, it happens on a weekend. They've already been working all week. They're going to have a whole week of work leading up to the convention with no break and then right back into work. So I remember my first convention when I went to GDC, PAX, when I went to PAX. And it was just meeting the community of the game that I was working on at the time. And was when I got back home and we went back to work, a lot of us kept talking about how we really got to get them what we told them that we were going to get them, because those are real people and we promised it and they were happy and smiling and stuff. So long and short is no, I don't agree with this take at all. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what it takes away from development. The devs need this just as much as we do, and we need to see. And this year, I've been here since the Kickstarter. This is the best CitizenCon in 11 years, straight up.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's it for me.
All right. Thanks, Rain. Take care of yourself now.
You too.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in, I think, is this North End, I think, maybe, who came in? I can't see the name. Is that North End? Hello. He's got his mic muted. Let me see. I think that's North End Trooper. I have to try to memorize people's icons at this point. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Who am I speaking with?
This is Nazareth.
Oh, Nazareth. Oh, hey. How are too. All I saw was an end, and I was like, "Is that North End Trooper?" I couldn't remember. How are you, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
I was shocked to hear such a poignant question. Like, I am terrible at tuning into streams, but I found this one, and this was actually a question that has been like close to my heart for a while. Not in-game dev, but been around it for a little while. And honestly, I'm going to start repeating a lot of the comments Rain just had. And it's people like have all these debates right before CitizenCon. Is it marketing that's running CitizenCon? Is it for the players? Is it for who else? And as much as it's for the players, it's not. Because a lot of the debates will say, well, no, we'd rather have the game done than go to CitizenCon. And for players, for the majority of players, I think that rings true. Because only a small subset of the community is able to go to CitizenCon.
Right.
And we could watch everything on ISC if we're not going to CitizenCon. CitizenCon is for the morale of the entire company. And they said as much in the opening comments, and they said as much in several of the panels, that it was, these devs have been working on this tech for this long, and they want to show you what they're working on.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the stuff we saw at this CitizenCon, it was all the stuff they've been working with Squadron.
Yeah.
As far as past CitizenCons, I've always really liked when they do future-looking panels where it's like, hey, this is the intent, this is where we're going. Even back to the Sandworm, the Moon Raid, and all these missions that were like, this is what we're aiming at.
Right.
And so I've always really liked when they say, that's the goal over there.
Right.
And not just, this is the stuff that you're going to be playing in 6 months because it's only what we have now plus.
Right.
So I think showing the future gameplay and also the whole CitizenCon is for the devs' morale to be able to be proud of what they're making and use this open platform that CIG has created.
All right. Thank you, Nazareth. Great perspective. I appreciate that, brother. Thanks for stopping by, too.
Thanks for having me.
You guys, make sure you guys check out Nazareth. He does streaming as well. And I don't know, Fast Car, if you can give a shout out to Nazareth. And also, he's on Yacht Club. You guys see him quite frequently on Yacht Club. I think he has the record on Yacht Club. We almost pulled up to him a couple of weeks ago. He has the record of 4 hours. I think we were 3 hours and 48 minutes. We almost beat you, Nazareth. All right, let me bring Colossal in, and I'm going to move on after after Fist to Face, because I've got to continue on with this thing about CitizenCon. But I do want you guys to give me your sentiments about this statement. And my good friend Colossal's here. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Griff. How you doing, my friend?
You got it, dude. You got it.
Good. Well, so I normally haven't come in on the side in a while, but I saw this statement and I felt, wow, this is ridiculous. First of all, the person started off with "believe me," right? I don't believe you. I really don't. Because who would literally tell somebody or some group not to celebrate their birthday? Literally, right? Who does not celebrate their birthday and say you can't take a time off to celebrate your birthday with you and your friends, meaning the community, right? So I'm speaking on a little bit of a different side with this. I mean, this guy here or gal or whatever clearly doesn't understand that that there are times when people need to go ahead and enjoy themselves. And the last time I checked, this is CIG's birthday. So happy belated birthday to CIG when they celebrate things like this, usually around this time period. So to literally suggest that they cannot celebrate their own birthday with their own community is foolishness. Okay, so that's this is a celebration. Okay, and the last time I checked, not everybody is running around telling everybody you should work on your birthday. Screw your birthday, screw your day of your birth. Let's not worry about that. You just need to go ahead and go to work. So this person literally basically is saying that I just want you to go ahead and go back to work and don't worry about that. And like this person has a blueprint on how companies should go ahead and celebrate themselves with a con. Okay, that multiple weeks is not, basically stopping multiple weeks is not an option. Who gave him the authority? Who gave her the authority to decide what is an option and what's best for the business?
Well, that's because they've given some money and they're a shareholder and they want to,
Yeah, whoop-de-doo.
Okay.
Whoop-de-doo.
Colossal.
On that one.
Thank
So I
you.
just wanted to share that piece with you, and happy birthday, happy
perspective.
belated birthday, CIG, and screw these people that come with this type of notion.
That's a good
everyone is
perspective. I didn't think about the birthday perspective, but I appreciate you bringing it that way. Thanks,
No
buddy.
problem.
All right, real quick. I got to give a shout out to Envoy. Envoy, I'm sorry I missed you earlier, but thank you so much for the sub as always. And MV 22 out or 21282 or 21262. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Hey, there's Fist to Face. What's up?
All right. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just going second what Colossal said because damn, I like that point. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right,
we can move on.
No problem. I appreciate that. And I'm gonna need you to talk a little bit because I'm gonna cover some subjects, especially what happened about being there. Okay. All right. Thank you, buddy. All right, let's go ahead and move on here, gang. Okay. As you guys know, over the last few weeks, I have been doing this whole theme about the psyche, the sentiment, the feelings of the community. I had noted back in August, September. I think my August and September programs were really talking about how people were feeling and what was going through their heads. Why was there this feeling of, it was oppressive. It was a weird feeling. I mean, we've had these droughts before with Star Citizen, the periods of time leading up to CitizenCon where things go dry, ISE isn't coming out as much stuff, the shows get kind of boring, not boring, but they're not as interesting for some people. But I noted that within the 8 weeks of leading up to CitizenCon, things were kind of people were losing steam, right? We were getting into this, 10th year, 11th year going into this thing and like, okay, what's going on? And even people were feeling a certain kind of way about CitizenCon, right? They were feeling like, I don't know, it's going to be the same thing. All they're going to do is sell ships or just going to be another demonstration thing. And that's it. All right. There was a lot of people feeling a certain way and I understand it. I do. I really do. I don't want to sound insensitive to it. So I noted it. I thought it was something that was important to talk about and to try to seek why people were feeling that way. And I'm going to talk about my observations when I get toward the end of this, but I want to talk about 3 things that were vital that happened over the last 4 years. And I feel that these 3 things, and someone said this earlier, Colossal just said it, and Rain said it, and Nazareth said it. We underestimate CitizenCon. We look at CitizenCon as just being a game convention, but I think there's something different about it that stands out than any other game convention. And I want to break it into 3 areas. Okay. The first one I want to break it into is this one. And that is Bar Citizen. Okay. At CitizenCon, historically, CitizenCon has always had these different components to it. One of them is Bar Citizen, which is usually the night before the event. And what's unique about it is that people come in from all over the world, from different parts of the world, and we meet at some venue. And once we're there, the devs from CIG start showing up. And you never know who's going to show up, but quite a few of them show up. And you get to meet them, get to greet them. They get to meet and greet you. You buy them a drink. They buy you a drink. You'll stand around or sit around for not only minutes, but sometimes hours, getting a chance to interact with each other. And the community gets to do the same thing. Now, we know Bar Citizens are also local. They happen on a local level, too. Different cities, people get together, they hang out. This last year, CIG made a very special effort, which I really appreciate, to do the World Bar Citizens International, where they sent community managers to various cities around the world. They couldn't get everywhere, obviously, but they tried to hit regions and they tried to come out and meet and greet with folks. They got to meet people. They got to do some giveaways and just get to hang out. When we did the one here in Chicago back in November, I want to say there were over 120, 130 people that showed up at that, where most of our Bar Citizens ranged anywhere from 8 people to maybe 28 people. 100 more folks showed up at that event. I think Galactica was there, Jake Acapella was there, and Dr. McKinney was there. We had 3 CIG folks there, 2 community managers, and a lead producer. They were there and hung out with us. And this has happened in other cities too. But Bar Citizen, I think, is important. So I want to talk about that. If you've been to a Bar Citizen, if you've gone to a Bar Citizen, if you've attended a Bar Citizen, this is your time to come in and talk. Give us your thoughts about what you saw. Maybe tell people who've never been to one what it was like. I could talk about it, but I don't want to take up the time talking about it. I'd rather let other people talk about it. But I think that Bar Citizen is definitely an ingredient. Now, let me say this before folks start coming in, because I know you're going to come in pretty soon. This year, well, previously, CIG would always help co-sponsor the Bar Citizen the night before CitizenCon. This year, they announced that they weren't going to be able to do it. Not that they didn't want to, but as you know, they had expanded CitizenCon from a one-day event to a two-day event, and they really needed to get their focus on that. And so some local people in LA, plus the folks with Bar Citizen IO, with Joran and his group, they all collaborated and got together and said, hey, let's do it the old school way. Let's make it happen. Let's figure out a way for it to happen. So we ended up meeting at this place called the Yard. I can never think of the name of this place. What's the name of the place, y'all? Yard, not Yard Line. Yard House. Thank you, Lefty. The Yard House. And where the Yard House was, there were also 3 other venues in that area outside of what they call Microsoft Plaza. And people were able to go to these different bars. Now, mind you, there were over 3,000 people that attended the event. Everybody wasn't there the first night. Everybody who was in town, even the second night, you know, everybody didn't come to Bar Citizen. Some people come, some people go out with their friends, some people do other stuff. But they did that night hang out. And I think I went both nights. The first night I hung out at the bar. The second night I hung out in the plaza. And a lot of people were there, and a lot of people were sharing and talking with each other. I know the first night I was there, who did I run into? Brian Chambers, first person that came over when he came into the restaurant. He came over, I was sitting near where you come in. He came over and stopped and talked with me and CC Creator. Let's see, hung out there for a little bit. The Poets came over, Space Tomato and his wife, Mrs. Tomato, both of them came by. I mean, there were just tons and tons. I'm gonna start naming people, because literally you just met so many people. Then there were people who were, you know, followers, supporters of our show who came by and said hello, spoke, and everything else. So, you know, it was a really cool thing. Let me bring in Fist to Face, because I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm going to let other people talk about it, because Fist was there, and then he can get, it's his first time going too. Fist, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey.
I'm sorry about that. Okay.
That's okay. Quick question.
So,
quick question.
Okay.
I know this was your first time going to CitizenCon, but this was also your first time to a Bar Citizen, because you haven't made it to any of the ones where you live, right?
Correct.
Okay, so this is your first Bar Citizen and CitizenCon. Okay, so give me your thoughts about the Bar Citizen. Maybe describe it to folks so they can know what happened.
So, I mean, I'm gonna give it one word: electrifying.
Okay.
Right. So it is. It definitely is. I mean, outside of the con experience, it is something where, you know, for me being my first time, to keep it short, you know, for the folks who come in, it was something where it was overwhelming, because, man, you're meeting all of these folks that you've never that you probably seen on screen or have heard and talked to through Discord, and putting face to you know, being able to meet them in person, you know, and sit down and talk, and just being in an atmosphere of, you know, being in close proximity of everybody. It was like I said again, going to that first word, electrifying. You know, for me, it definitely, like I always say to folks, you know, the experience of the con is 90% meeting folks, 10% the presentation, because 90% was like I said again, just experiencing everybody, you know, sitting down, talking to them, what are their expectations, understanding and hearing their you know, happiness and joy for the game that invigorates you.
Yeah.
You know, so it actually got me thinking about actually now attending maybe one closer to me. You know, maybe the Philadelphia one, maybe the New Jersey, South Jersey one. You know, it's possible, you know. So
I'm glad you said that, because I know that they were trying to plan one in Columbus, which is where Star Jump Grim is in Ohio, and I really want to meet him. He couldn't make it, right? And I'm actually thinking about making the trip to Columbus just to solely be able to go hang out with him. You know what I mean? It's like, once you've gone to one, I don't want to say it's in a negative way, but once you go to one, you get it. You know what I mean? Because you hear people talk about it and just, it's like a bar crawl, no big deal. But it's not until you really go to it and you experience it that it starts to kind of click, right?
And I have to agree with you with that statement because that, and I'll be honest, that was my mentality as far as going down to visit going down to South Jersey and going to that bar Citizen, thinking, man, okay, well, it's just going to be at a bar because, hey, number one, I don't drink, and that's half, you thinking going to a bar, that's pretty much your experience of going there. But no, you're going there to talk to the folks, to meet them and understand and see their enthusiasm for the game, and so on and so forth. So yeah.
Let me ask you one more question. By the way, don't forget, you guys can come in if you've been to a bar Citizen. If you're curious, come in. But if you've been to one, I really would love to hear your thoughts. What was the one thing that probably, was there anybody that you met that left an impression on you? And it could be a backer, deaf person, the barmaid. I mean, was there anybody who you really kind of, after you went, it was like, wow, it was really cool to talk to this person or meet this person?
I'm going to say this big shout out to everybody that I have met. But I will say for me, to that question, was sitting down with Yogi.
Okay.
It was towards the end of, it was like at the after party, and we just, like I told you before, we just talk shop about audio. Now, don't get me wrong, I love meeting Maiden, Sigalian, everybody. But put me on the spot on that question, I have to say, Yogi, when he sat down next to me, at first I didn't even realize it was him, and then he said, "Hey, so what do you do?" So I said, "Audio," and then we just talked about audio. Didn't even realize he was an audio programmer, right?
Of all people,
right? There you go. So yeah, it was just fun. It was fun. It was fun meeting everybody, but yes.
Standard Dev, thank you so much for that sub. And Witch Doctor, good to see you again. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. I mean, this is my third CitizenCon that I've gone to where it was the bar Citizen with CitizenCon. And I was very thankful that the folks in LA did put something together, because it would have felt a little empty not having the bar Citizen.
Right.
And obviously CIG did contribute in their own way. They couldn't help with the organization of it, but just so you guys will know, they gave away 30 ships on that night. They were giving away Krakens, Polaris. They were giving away some serious stuff. And we're going to, maybe I'll show some stuff later, but there were pictures of the plaza. There were just people out there, and the Poets was helping MC the event along with CIG staff. It was really, really good. Matrix Omega, thank you for that follow. They gave out F8Cs. They gave out just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
There was just tons and tons of stuff.
Oh man,
so
it was. It's one of those things. Again, you just had to be there.
Yes,
you have to be there.
Yes,
and also they gave away not just only ships. I believe the Poets gave away a CPU.
Yes, they gave away
They gave away
some GPUs, right? They gave away GPUs, right?
I think it was a CPU.
Was it a CPU?
It was Intel,
oh, that's right. It was. That's right.
CPU.
That's right. That's right. Sure did.
Yep. Because I remember the person who he handed that box to. I was like, oh, okay. You better keep it tight. Keep it close.
I know. No, but you're right. You're right. They really did. Okay, listen. Yeah. I know I've got a couple of people from the Soul team that are here. You guys, how come y'all ain't coming in and talking? I saw Abdi in here, Fast Carts in here.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to be coming in here giving me your 2 cents on the event. Anyway, we didn't get to stream from there, which is the only thing I wish we could have done.
Right.
But it was just such a noisy, I don't know. It was busy, and in a way I thought about it. I said, now wait and just do the other stuff too.
Yeah.
Julius Ray, thank you for that follow. We appreciate. Oh no, that was a sub. I'm sorry. Thank you for the sub.
Are you going to talk about the con part later?
That's later.
I'll speak about that part later.
I'm going to hit that later. That later. Cool. Well, no. The con. Yes, that is going to come up later. It's under 2 other categories. You can pick which one you want to come in on. Probably the community. Probably when I get to community. Okay. All right. I got Fast Cart waiting for me. Thanks, buddy. All righty. Let's bring in the one and the only FC Fast Carts. Hey, bud.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay.
So you want to talk about the bar Citizen?
Yes.
Yeah, this was not my first one. I think my first one was like 2017, 2018. Because you gave a history. Like Jordan really started organizing. He had a big one in Florida, and then it started catching on from there. But yeah, I mean, the bar Citizen this year at CitizenCon, they're pretty hopping, man. Like we keep calling it Microsoft Plaza, but they renamed it to the Paramount Plaza, right?
Oh, okay.
They got sold.
Oh, well, when they put that notice out to everybody, they said Microsoft.
Yeah, it's that Microsoft. Yeah, because that's the other one. Because I went back on Monday to look around and I asked someone who was guiding people into the table.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them, where's the Microsoft Plaza? Okay, this is the old Microsoft Plaza. It got renamed to the Paramount Plaza. Like, okay. Oh, that's why the Paramount is all over, named all over the place. Okay, got it. I thought Microsoft Plaza was a whole separate place, but we were in that place. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that was confusing for me. But other than that, yeah, I had face-to-face nailed it on the head. It was electrifying. It was great to see all these people again. I saw a lot more people here this year than in previous years, obviously, because it was a bigger event.
Right.
And yeah, it was great. But yeah, so what other aspects you wanted me to ask about?
No, just your sentiments. So, did you meet anybody in particular that you never met? Whether it was a backer or somebody who watched the show or whatever. Just anybody in particular that you got a chance to talk to. Because you've talked to a lot of the other people before. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned this before. There's a whole lot of people asking about people who weren't there, asking about Karate. One person asked about Admiral Kusanagi. Mm-hmm. Some people asking about DK, Dark Knight. Yep. So yeah, the people who went there weren't missed. But as far as for me, I had a great time. My story is, I really wanted to go to the VIP after party, right? But I got a premium ticket for that pretty easily, as opposed to some people. I'm feeling sorry for people who couldn't go, who wanted to go. But my thing is, I wanted the CIG tour, right? And I've been talking about it for the past months, a few months about that. So I wasn't able to get him because of the fire marshal was shutting things down. It was a complicated, not a complicated issue, but it was an involved issue. So that's why I wasn't able to get a CIG tour. Right. But that's fine. The day after that, we had a impromptu bar citizen over at the Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood, and I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but the CIG dev came after I arrived, so we had a little, I guess they called it a bar citizen there too. I had 2 pictures and everything. It was fun. We were there for like 4 hours. Mm-hmm. They were drinking, and I was saying, as a matter of fact, at one point I had to say, y'all are having too much fun, and this is me saying that. So yeah, I can't really nail it down to like any one person. It was just seeing a whole bunch of people all together.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, buddy, thank you. I appreciate you stopping in. Alrighty.
No problem.
We got 2 more folks, and we're going to hit the next one. And Pyrophoric, thank you for the 200 bits. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And this is Cizelle09, thank you for that follow. Appreciate that as well. Let me bring in Pops in space, and then we're going to hit Updi, and then we're going to move on. Pops, you there?
Yeah, yes. Yep, I'm here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're asking about our experience at CitizenCon.
At Bar Citizen.
Oh, Bar Citizen.
Yes, okay. At Bar Citizen. Mm-hmm.
At Bar, meeting the people. Mm-hmm. Was great. They had giveaways, and sitting down and eating with people, people that this is your first time or second time, or just connecting with people that you've talked to, but meeting them in person,
right?
It's
well, Pops, let's do this. Do me a favor, tell people who, because when I came in, you guys had a whole dinner table full of different folks. So tell them some of the people who you got to sit there and have dinner with that first night.
Oh, the first night. Well, Gio, Get Money, he was there. Who was it? Sigelian,
yeah.
Sigelian with his outfits was a blast. Who else was at the table? Friend is, I forget Sigelian's
I don't remember who else was there. I know you all had a full table. That's all I remember when I came in.
Right. Well, FC was there with us.
Right. Fist, and there was somebody else that you guys had at that table. Then you guys was it the Poets who came over with you guys, or somebody came over with you guys for a little bit?
Yeah, he stopped. The Poet stopped by. The Poets was making his rounds. I know Gomab was there.
Yeah, Gomab was there. Right, Gomab was there. Yeah. So you guys had a good, I'm just saying you had a good group of people that you got to sit and have. I mean, people don't think about it that way, but even though we call it Bar Citizen, and I know Fist was saying earlier, he doesn't drink. Most of the time there is an opportunity to eat too, which was great. you know.
Yeah.
And Jeff,
Mhm.
Fast Car said Jeff was the other person
Yeah,
that was there.
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So you
And
guys
it
had a
was
good time.
Yeah, it's just something special about breaking bread with one another and sitting down and it really and it was the night before, so it kind of got you ready.
Yeah.
It was kind of that preparational thing, and everybody was out in the I forget the yard,
The plaza
kind of
out there. Yeah.
thing, the plaza out there where Brian was at, and the poets and Buster, you know, and you know, people, you know, we just got to, and you got to talk to people you've never even known before.
Yeah, now let me stop you a second, Pops. I know a certain person who was a little nervous and shy about coming to CitizenCon and the Bar Citizen. I'm going to ask that person, did they enjoy themselves?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good, you know,
you had a good time, right?
My struggles.
Pops, we ain't talking about your struggles. My question was, did you have a good time?
My answer is absolutely yes. I learned what a building is. So I am good.
Good. All right. Well, I'm glad you came, Pops. You and Fist, I'm glad you guys got the opportunity. Because a lot of people, it was a lot for a lot of people to come. You know, I mean, just for traveling, distance, finances, whole lot of stuff. But I'm glad you made it, because Bar Citizen, some people couldn't make it that first night. You know, they didn't get there till Saturday, but they did get to, you know, participate on the Saturday night Bar Citizen. But both nights were a lot of fun. So I'm glad you made it, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm glad UNFC stood behind me and really encouraged me to go.
Yes, sir. All righty. Thanks again, Pops. All right. Last but not least, let's bring in Abdi.
You know.
Oops, I went to the wrong room. I brought them to that room and I went there. I grabbed myself. There we go. Abdi, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, brother? You in the car?
Yeah, I'm in the car.
That's okay. We can hear you.
Okay, I just dropped off my daughter at the Green Face.
Okay.
I saw that it was Ron.
Uh-oh.
Want to jump in if I can?
Your audio's going in and out a little bit, but I think we can hear you. So what's your thoughts about Bar Citizen?
Bar Citizen? No. Citizen's crazy.
Uh-oh. All right, Abdi, you're going in and out. Your noise cancellation is kicking you out pretty bad. So do me a favor. I know you're in the car. If you get home and you want to come back in, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you in a little bit. All right. He's dropping off his daughter. We'll get him in a little bit. Okay, so that's Bar Citizen. Let's move on to the next one here. Now, by the way, that is Abdi on the left. You guys have seen him on the show before. Next to him is Buster the Destroyer. Behind Buster in the back is Humek. To the right of that is Mrs. Tomato, who's leaning backward. And last but not least is one of the only Space Tomato. So there we go. All right. Okie dokie. Let's move on to the next thing here. Let's talk about Cloud Imperium Games. For those of you who got a chance to maybe see them when they spoke at the convention, I know earlier Rain was talking about these devs are not professional speakers. They're, you know, they're developers. But I'd like to get your thoughts on them sharing. And also for those of you who maybe got an opportunity to meet them, what it was like to meet them and talk with them. Again, everybody's kind of talked about this thing of why CitizenCon to them is important. There's a certain feeling and support that happens on both ends. I got to meet quite a few folk, which I'll show you a little bit later, some of whom I met in the past, but this time I got a chance to connect and meet some other people, which was really, really nice. But Fast Card is here in that photo there. And in that photo, I don't know why I always have this issue with this man's name. On his left, on his right, on your left is Todd Pappy. And on the right, you guys know, is John Crew. You know, this is typical when you go to the con. You get to meet these people and talk with them. It's not just a selfie moment, but an opportunity to talk with them. I want to touch on something that Rain said earlier, and Nazareth said it, and Colossal said it too. I think there's an underestimation of how much impact CitizenCon has on the staff at Cloud Imperium Games. There are only so many people that get to come to the convention. Quite a few, though. but enough of them come. It's not the whole company. It's not 1,100 CIG employees at the convention. Some of the people come from across the pond. Some of the people are here in the United States. Some folks in Montreal. But they do get to come to the event and they do get to connect. And one of the things that many of them will tell you is that they'll ask you, are you enjoying the convention? And then if you ask them the same thing, they will tell you absolutely. They don't see it as work. The convention for them is an opportunity to be renewed, rejuvenated, recharged when they go back. And the same way many people who go to CitizenCon or watch CitizenCon feel after it's over, that same feeling happens with their staff. They go away saying, wow, the energy that these people have, the fact that these people are willing to sacrifice and travel from Germany, Australia, the UK, from New York City, Florida, Texas, Minnesota, and come here to meet with us really strengthens them. And they are tremendously appreciative of the sacrifices that people make. Los Angeles, you know, when they announced that they were going to have this thing in LA, there were a lot of people who just said, it's too much. It's expensive, which it is. It's not cheap. I ended up ordering breakfast in my hotel room the first night because I was running late and they were supposed to have had it at my room at 7:15 and it was 7:15. There was no food. So I called downstairs. They said, we'll send it right up because I had to be at the venue by 8. And they sent my breakfast up. I had an omelet. It was a really nice 3-egg omelet with hash browns and orange juice. Now the 3-egg omelet and hash browns was $22. Not too bad. And the orange juice was $6, but this was like fresh, like right off the tree orange juice, right? So I know some people might say, maybe if it's about $15 for the omelet, but it's LA, okay? And it's rooms, you know, no big deal. So I said, okay, that's not too bad. $28 for breakfast, and I throw my tip in. I got up there and got my receipt. It was a $5 delivery charge, or $5 some other tax, and then the regular tax, and it came out to $42. Came out to $42. And I was like, woo, okay, let me sign this. You know, that was it. But anyway, so for some people, yes, I understand. Going to LA was an expense, and especially for people who may have come from long distances. But I don't know anybody who went and felt like it wasn't worth it. And these people at Cloud Imperium know the sacrifices that you guys make to go to the convention. Over 3,000 people from all over the world who come there. So let's talk a little bit about them and maybe conversations people had with them. And then we're going to move on to the final part. So let me bring in FC's back. Let's bring him in. Since he's in that picture, he can talk about it. You there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I just wanted to say I got to send another thank you for the folks because I ran into a little financial problem at the beginning of the convention. When I checked into my hotel, I was only expecting like $100 or $150 deposit for my stay. They wanted $300. It completely drained my account.
You know why? They saw you and said, "Party animal. He's going to drink all the liquor in the room. We got to charge this guy extra." That's what happened.
Maybe that's what it was. But I got to say thank you for New Soul and people from the Soul Citizen, the team members who chipped in to help me pay my way. Because by the time Monday came along, the $300 was cleared. So that was the thing. But by then it was gone. So I wasn't sure if it hadn't been gone. I don't know what I would be doing. But you know, you're talking about the food at the venue. How much was your burger or your hot dog and fries or something?
But you know what? But you know what? Convention centers are always expensive. Not to be funny, Fast Cart. One time I took my daughters to go see a Disney on Ice, and we ordered they wanted a nachos and a hot dog, right? So between those two items, it was like $9.50, and I was like, oh. Throw 2 pops in for that. It went to $20. I'm like, what the fuck? So, you know, convention centers are always expensive. And you kind of know what was tough, though, is that you can't bring your own food. So that's the thing. Especially if you're stuck inside. Now, if you could leave the convention center and come back, you know, you can figure out something. But the fact that you're kind of, you know, we were stuck there because we were working the table. you got to go with what they got, unfortunately. But
I was thankful to avoid eating at the convention, but I did have to eat at the airport on my way out because I was having a late flight. So I went to Burger King. Burger King, it's cheap everywhere, right? No,
not at the airport.
I bought a double Whopper with cheese and fries, right? It was $19.
I believe it. I believe it. So tell me a little bit about the picture that you got here. Talk about the Cloud Imperium people for a second. Give us some
the Cloud Imperium people. So yeah, they were excited to see us, have us there. They were, they were talking about I talked to a whole bunch of people. Brian Chambers, you have a story about him. He was happy about people saying Squadron 42. People were asking him questions. Oh man, I got a picture with Zane. That was kind of awkward because the people who were around Zane were talking and asking crazy questions. But he was going with the flow. He was trying to keep up, right? And because I think people overall, the developers and the backers and everyone else in there were just excited to be there and have fun and just hang out because it was. I'm not sure you said it already, but it was a celebration. Job well done.
Yeah, it was. And just so you guys will know, some people were curious about what happened at the after party. Now, I'm going to try to say this nicely. I go to a lot of VIP events. And VIP events, once you've gone to one, you've gone to them all. You stand around and hold a drink and talk to people. That's it. There really isn't anything really special other than the fact that you're just there. And CIG's VIP event, don't get me wrong, it was nice. It was special. It was at the studio. Fastcart mentioned this earlier, but they were giving tours. But we had talked about the tours would probably be limited. One, because it was a Sunday. That was the first thing. Secondly, there was an issue with the amount of people. Now, some people asked how many people could come. We didn't know. Fastcart and I kind of had a little bet going as to how many people they were going to have. And what we did agree on was that if they didn't have it inside, they would probably have it in the parking lot in a tent, which is what they ended up doing. And they said that they had given out, there was a reservation count for 500. But they were hard stuck at that 500 because they had a fire marshal who was really holding them to the line. In other words, they had pushed it to the max that they could go. They probably want to do more.
And there were some people standing outside on the sidewalk too,
who were trying to get in or hoping that they could get in, and there was just a hard fix to not being able to get in for that. So, considering if you had, there were over, I don't know what the count, maybe later on, unless Fastcart heard it. I never heard what the final count of attendees was. We just know it was somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people there. But still, 500, that's still a sixth of the people that were at the event that were able to attend it. And again, I don't remember Fastcart. There wasn't anything, there was some finger food and drinks, but that was,
and drinks,
and that was it, right? It was just more of a mix and mingle. But I do want to go on something, and I will share the story since you mentioned it. This particular thing was, we never have these afterward. Normally everything happens at the bar Citizen, and usually that's on Friday night only. And that's, I think Pops mentioned this. It was about anticipation. Then Saturday night is usually the con. And then after that, people kind of hang around. It's an informal after party. Usually people just meet someplace and just hang around. This is the first time CIG did an actual formal event. Now, what was different about this one, and Fastcart, maybe you could confirm or tell me if I'm wrong, the difference in this one versus any other CitizenCon, there was a huge feeling of celebration. It was more of a sigh of relief and build up to everything that CIG's been doing. And I'll share the story that Fastcart referenced. I was leaving early. What were you gonna say?
Before you did that, I just want to say, I think that the most of the side of relief was that people were hoping and they got to see some Squadron 42 updates.
Yes,
I think that was mostly because a lot of people were saying like, if they don't show Squadron 42 this time, I don't know, I'm quitting the game or something along those lines, right? But they CID delivered.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it could have been Squadron, but I'm going to go beyond Squadron, Fastcart, and say everything that people have been talking about, all the complaints. Not complaints, all the concerns that people have been raising about the tech, server meshing, Vulkan. I mean, everything that people have been talking about leading up to that weekend that people maybe thought CIG wasn't listening, or what are they doing with it, or we haven't heard anything about it in a while. It all went up on the screen that weekend, and the fact that they have to kind of, I'm sure they hear what the rumblings are and what the conversations are in the community, but they can't really say anything. But let me reference the story that Fast Cart mentioned earlier. The party was supposed to go from 7 till 11. They actually extended it till midnight. But I had to leave at 9, 9:15, 9:30 because I had a flight that was leaving at 11 o'clock. And I knew I couldn't stay for the whole thing, but I just wanted to stay for a portion of it. And as I was leaving, I was with CC Creator. Shout out to CC. And we were leaving out, and Brian Chambers was walking. He saw me. He said, "Are you leaving?" I said, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to head out." And he said, "Man," he said, "that last thing that popped up on the screen? You guys know that Brian Chambers is over Squadron." He said, that last thing that popped up on the screen, he said, "That was my baby. And you don't know how good it felt to release that today." And I was like, wow. I said, "Yeah, and I know it's a monkey off your back too." And he said, "Yeah." But that was his feeling. He was celebrating, and he was happy to finally put that thing out there to those of us in the community and see our response to what happened. And I think Fast Cart Rain referenced this earlier. Chris Roberts got emotional.
Oh yeah.
After they did the Star Engine, I just now watched that episode last night. Because Fast Cart and I were tied up the whole weekend. We really didn't. We might have got to see a tenth of the whole presentation. So I'm just now watching videos. I haven't even seen any of the other sessions. I've just seen pieces, but I haven't seen them. And after they showed during Star Engine that server meshing was working, and Chris came out and said, "I saw this for the first time 3 weeks ago." And he came out and celebrated you guys. He said, "Thank you for all the patience and the time that you guys have given us to do it and do it right." And I think that was really important. In their stories about Chris kind of lost it when he went out back, and you can understand why. All the 11 years of believing in something. I think Kai opened up the show, talked about these geniuses who have a certain level of optimism. They have to be optimistic. They have to believe in their project. And when you're surrounded by people in the industry, maybe even people that work for you, the community that maybe supports you, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he understands people's uncertainty and hesitation and skepticism, but to bear that
real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, the story that I've been hearing at the after party is that Chris Roberts wasn't just emotional on stage; he was emotional for a while, even afterwards. Like they went to dinner and stuff, and he was still emotional. So it really hit him hard, but in a good way. He was grateful and got to see the reaction. We gave him a 5-minute standing ovation. So yeah,
it felt like 5 minutes. It wasn't 5 minutes.
Right. Well, yeah,
it was long. No, it was long and well deserved. It was long and well deserved, and he did get emotional. Point, your point. You're right. He did get emotional, and it's a lot to have something that you believe in, and then finally, as he put it, birth it. To give it life and actually see it. And so listen, there was some real Easter eggs in there, because he said he saw that 3 weeks ago, y'all. I hope y'all caught that. Not 2 months ago. He saw it 3 weeks ago. So, that meant they were down to the wire with getting that thing to really, really be the thing that he wanted to deliver to the community. Okay, Fast Cart, I'm going to get these other guys in here. Thanks for dropping in, buddy, okay?
No problem.
All right. Let me bring in, is this Red? I can't tell who this is. I keep moving the wrong thing here. Is that Red?
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Okay, I couldn't see your name there. Good to see you. Good to hear you. Good to see you.
Yeah, well, maybe next time.
There you go. What are your thoughts about Cloud Imperium?
About the importance of game CitizenCon. Yeah, I think it's very important. I was already talking about with Abu Dhabi, I call them like this, that a lot of big streamers take notice and actually were pleasantly surprised, because they thought at first, oh, it's Star Citizen, it's a joke, bad game, and they were ready to make fun out of it. And the more they watched it, the more they liked it. Like, hey, what is this? How come not much more people are talking about this? And this is something, CIG has to keep going, actually.
Yeah, they do. And you're right. Just this week, I said this before, when Chris came out on stage, there's always been this weird thing from the community. There's a group of people who want to hear from Chris Roberts, like they don't hear from him enough. And then there's another group of people who say, we don't want to hear from Chris Roberts, just deliver the game, right? there's these two different groups, right? But Chris did something this year that was unique, and people kept asking, looking at the schedule, is Chris going to say something? Will there be a keynote like he usually does the keynote? Will there be something like that? And this is what I noted. Chris came out and said all he needed to say, and the way he did it was he showed the work. He came out and said, I'm going to let the work speak for me, which was the best way to do it. Before, someone said this earlier, and I'm glad that Nazareth said this. Earlier, CitizenCons were about vision. We did a show on this about a month or two ago called Visions, Dreams, and Reality. And what we did was we talked about the fact that the early years of this were about casting the vision so that we as gamers would start to understand what it was Chris wanted to do. He was painting a picture. Even the CitizenCons back then, we didn't see cinematics. We saw stuff that was in a local client that was working, but eventually they're saying, we want to get this in your hands. In fact, that's like a big thing, right? The CIG always says, we want to get this in your hands, right? So it's not like we're watching some animation. But I think that the players, when we move from vision to dreams, we start dreaming big. And soon as we see it, we start dreaming that we're going to get it in 6 months, a year and a half. And we don't leave room for vision to become reality. And we get so excited. Like I've even heard people say, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, but people say, man, after I saw this stuff at CitizenCon, I don't even want to go back and play the game the way it is right now. And I understand that because you're licking your chops because you want to go to Pyro. You want to see your clothes wave in the wind. You want to blow up and destroy stuff. And so I understand where it comes from. But
by the way,
I
was flying over a piece of water in Hurston. And I thought like, oh, if I only had the same water effect as on CitizenCon.
Right. And it's understandable. It's understandable because once you see it, you want to experience it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that when we got past 2016 and 17, CIG, the worm thing, I know people still talk about that sandworm, but I distinctly remember when we zoomed in on that planet, it said Lear 3. I always remember that. So it never bothered me.
I really don't understand why people bring up the worm finger still. It's a done deal for me.
But you know what? Because
just
Dune,
let it go.
But you know why? Because people have Dune in their mind, and we have a planet like Daymar, and they want to see that worm pop out. On Daymar, that's why they picked Lear 3. That's why they didn't do it in Daymar. They were saying this is what's going to come, and people looked at it as this is what we're getting next year, next patch, and they got disappointed. So I understand where it came from. But Kai mentioned this earlier as they've progressed, and please remember this too, guys. Cloud Imperium Games is an evolving company that's growing. It's been growing over the last 10 years. And there are going to be times like any business where things don't go well, they make a bad decision. But the object is, can the business recover and keep going and do better? And we've been seeing it do that. So we have to give them room as a business. And then we get a weekend like we had last weekend where we finally see if we give them that room, what they're capable of doing.
Another reason I think this is very important also for the backers, because we both know last couple of months at least, people are very negative about this project. And I think they did it well done to show what tech they worked on, how it works. Also this server meshing demo they gave was really good. I think it answered a lot of questions for the people, and I think it regained a lot of faith and trust again. Although, guys, one thing Chris cannot do is giving dates anymore.
But you know what? I will say this, Red. He did give dates this time and didn't get any pushback for it. And that's different, right? Because we know normally he says, I can't say nothing or else they'll kill me. He did put out 2 timelines. Now, I will say this, though, to your point. Guys, you've seen what they can do. Give them a break. Give them a break. Chris said that there were the team said there were certain things they wanted to get to us by the end of this year. And then they said there was other stuff they wanted to get to us by end of next year, within the next 12 months.
Yes.
Give them some
Or
breathing
so.
room. Yeah, right.
Or
Or so.
so.
Right. Give them some breathing room, guys. You see it. The
Yeah.
evidence is there. Eva Cotty went in this weekend. Eva Cotty is just happy with what they saw. People who played the game last week were ecstatic with what they saw. We're going to be testing starting next week. Some of you guys will be in the experimental. Give them room to make it right so this game sticks around for 10, 20 years. Please give them that room and support them in it. I know it's difficult. It's not easy. We all want to play the game. Whether you put in $45 or $4,500 or $45,000, give them room to do the game. All right, Red. Thank you, brother. Always good to hear you.
Welcome.
All right. Last but not least, let's bring in Abdi, and then we're going to move into the next subject and wrap this show up. Abdi, you're back. He was back. There he is. There he is. I can hear you now.
A much better mic. Sorry, I was in the car, and now I'm no longer in the car.
That's okay. We can hear you.
Cool.
So you can give your comment to either one if you want to talk about your experience with Bar Citizen, or if you want to talk about the impact that you after meeting Cloud Imperium's people, whichever one. But we're on Cloud Imperium at this point, so whichever one you want to do.
Maybe I'll stick with Cloud Imperium.
Okay.
I will kind of talk about maybe my perspective in terms of being a Star Citizen streamer and Star Citizen enjoyer, and just a general human being. And the first thing that I'll say is that I said this in someone's stream yesterday, Zero State stream, that I went to this event, CitizenCon, and I don't think I met one phony. Like every person that I talked to, whether they be a Star Citizen creator or content creator, streamer, or Cloud Imperium dev, all of them were just genuine, nice, kind human beings. So that was really, really humbling, because you go to an event like this and people could be just promoting their brand, which would be understandable, would be totally fine, or even just like, I'm a dev, you are beneath me, I don't want to talk to you. Or it could be that I'm a dev and I'm tired and I don't want to talk to a million people. But none of that happened, even though all of that would have been valid. Instead, what I saw and what I observed from my perspective was I met these people and they were all just like, even at the end of the event, at the VIP party, so genuinely happy to see us. I saw Brian Chambers, I didn't talk to Brian Chambers till the VIP event, and I was like, hey, I know you're probably so freaking tired, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of your work. He was like, dude, this is what we're out, this is why we're out here. And I was like, man, after a complete weekend of people probably bombarding his space, to still be just so genuinely excited and thankful and grateful, it renewed my confidence in that this is not only a great game, but being made by great people as well.
Let me ask you this, because this was your first CitizenCon, correct? First one?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. What's your takeaway from it after you've gone to the event? Because we're going to talk about community next. But as far as the Cloud Imperium people, I appreciate you sharing the fact that they're genuine and they wanted to be there. It wasn't like they're under contract to talk to us or anything, right? Was there anybody in particular that you saw that you were like, oh wow, there's so-and-so, they're here? Was there anybody in particular you saw? I mean, obviously Chris Roberts, everybody, sees him, but was there anybody you were surprised to see, or just a face that you
so I saw Aaron Roberts. I didn't get to take a picture with him, but I know that he's a very behind the scenes kind of guy. I don't know when the last time was he was in an ISC or an SCL or any video content.
We've seen him,
But to see him there was really, really cool.
I agree. That was a nice surprise. He stopped by the table too. We got to show you a picture.
Right, I saw that picture.
It? Okay, it was nice to see. I didn't expect to see him.
So that was really cool. Brian Chambers, I believe Brian Chambers lives in Germany, doesn't he?
Right.
Yeah, so to see him there was really cool too. I've seen, you see him behind the scenes. I think the last time I saw him in anything was the what was it? It was the Squadron 42.
Oh wow, back.
It was like some talk or something like that where all the developers were talking about that. So it was cool to see him. Then I expected to see all the community managers and things like that. So that was really awesome.
It was.
But yeah, I would say.
Did you like Ulf? Wasn't Ulf a sweetheart?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was really
just like
great.
not just a sweetheart, but just like grinding so hard to make sure that people had a voice and that everything on the floor went so smoothly. So props to him. I hope he gets like a week off of work.
Yeah, because he's running all over the place.
Brother needs it.
Yeah, they all were. I mean, even Disco, everybody was, but
everybody.
I mean, other than the people who were working, they were working when they were there. But the people who were there, like you said, and it was funny because all the pillars were there, right? You had John Crew, you had Todd Pappy, Sean Tracy, all those faces that oversee the various departments were all flown in for the event, which was just really nice to see all of them.
Can I tell you my one glaring omission that everyone else is probably talking about and has been in the news? Tony Z.
You know what? And I'll tell you, here's something funny I will say about
saw the news. I get it.
And let me say this. When I saw Tony wasn't there, I figured that was not Tony. Let me take that back. We all walked away from the event excited, right?
Absolutely.
None of us caught the fact that they didn't talk about economy or quantum in the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we were talking about everything else.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, we were so overwhelmed with everything, you know what I mean, that it was kind of like, whoa. But the cool thing was, as I said, it's also obvious they didn't talk about it, which means they're getting ready to do something. You know what I mean? Because this intro to pyro and everything and trade and economy is so vital to making pyro significant. I'm like, okay, they're going to do something. It ain't here, but they're going to do something. So I'm excited.
Did you see the news this week about Tony Z, though? They had official dev word about what's going on with the quantum stuff.
Yeah, you're going to tell people. Tell them.
Well, so it's not that quantum and the economy are on hold. It sounds to me like more like there are other key factors that they want to make sure are in the right spot before they really start putting heavily, putting their hooks into quantum and getting that active in the verse. So I don't think it's not one of those things where I think we'll see it tomorrow or I'm not tomorrow, but soon. TM. Right. But I think there's other things that we need to keep our eyes on before we can really start talking about quantum and the economy.
Yeah. Now, tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking about an overview of the whole convention. But I do, since you were here and you did it, because I didn't get to do it, but everybody I talked to got a chance to do it.
Yeah. Right.
Just real quick.
I'm sorry you didn't get a chance.
No. I didn't bother me. I was fine not seeing it right now because I figured I'd hear plenty of stories. But tell everybody just your initial feeling. And we're talking about Cloud Imperium Games still, y'all. But Cloud Imperium had set up an area with 160 computers provided by ASUS. And they had this area where people could go in and play Pyro for approximately up to 40 minutes. It wasn't like a 10-minute, 15-minute thing. And BBG, he's here, or he was here. I know he experienced it. Just real quick, tell people your initial feelings after you got a chance to go over and play Pyro.
Initial feelings. Pyro is big. Pyro is beautiful. And Pyro is dangerous.
That's what I heard.
You want me to expand? I can expand. I just don't know how much time.
Give me 3 minutes. Give me a minute on each topic.
3 minutes?
A minute on each one of those.
I will say one thing. There were some people that tried to go from one side to the other. They did not make it in the 30 minutes or that they got. So it's big. It's big for quantum in terms of quantuming from one side to the other. What I did was I took a scout and I went to Pyro 1. And I didn't even take a mission. I just went to the point of interest that I could find on the planet. Went to the planet and immediately got into a firefight with NPCs that wanted to kill me. They're just like, you're not supposed to be here. So we got into a firefight. But the first thing, from the time that I started to the time that I ended, it was beautiful. I was taking screenshots, not actual screenshots, just screenshots with my phone. And oh my god, the vistas, it's absolutely unique. Y'all want to talk to BBG though? Make sure you talk about BBG's experience because he experienced a solar flare or a solar event where. Yep, and it was.
Don't tell him what happens, but yep.
Yeah, I won't tell him what happens, but I didn't experience that. Let me tell you, I wish I did. I really wish I did because honestly, it sounds like something that I'm very much looking forward to experiencing. Even though I'm also not looking forward to experiencing it if I get it wrong.
Ooh, I hear you. All right, Ubdi, thank you so much, my brother. Appreciate you.
No problem. I'm gonna go do some raking.
All right, okay, buddy. Got to get the leaves. All right, I think we got North End Trooper and then Pops, and then we're going to move on to our final area. North End, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Doing pretty good. It was a pleasure meeting all of you.
Oh, you too. Any thoughts?
So I'll stick with just the CIG portion.
Gotcha.
Kind of some lessons learned. First, I should have made a list of everybody I needed to talk to because I kicked myself for that. Talking to some, I talked to a few devs, and some people joined in the conversation. It was perfectly fine, but I was kind of taken back on some of the questions they asked devs, like when are we going to get this and things that they can't say. It's like, come on, guys, you're derailing a good conversation we're in right now. But I would say from talking to Mark Gibson, Will the Waterman,
yes,
Yogi and Thorsten.
Let me jump in real quick. Mark came over to the table and talked to me for 20 minutes.
Oh,
we got into a huge conversation about what I can't say. It was just about development, and he was just such a cool. We're talking about the guy with the beard and the bald head guy. Oh man, just such a great conversation. Oh my God, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, he gave me good tips on my beard too, so that was helpful for him. But I mean, obviously the event's done now. But I would say the next CitizenCon, put this in your back pocket. Being an attentive listener to what they're saying can net you so much more value in that conversation than just asking a question and walking away.
Yeah.
As I got a lot of juicy bits out of that. And coming from kind of the programming coding side of it, I'm jealous of the devs as in to demo something I've been working hard on for a number of time, a number of months and stuff like that, and then actually have people come up and kind of help dissect, like, what did you do? This is amazing. What kind of technology we're using for this?
The feedback,
the light just lit up behind their eyes.
Yeah.
I talked to Will for 20 minutes or so just on the water.
Yeah, a lot of people talk to him about water. Yeah.
I talked to Thurston for about 15 minutes just on the engineering terminal.
Nice.
So it was good.
Yeah.
I would. Some part of me wish it wasn't 2 days long. I wish it was longer, just so I can keep talking to everybody. But I mean, I think we're all burnt out by the end of the second day.
Yeah, a lot of people said they wish they would go on for another day because it was just so much. And people would think, right, North, you would think that because they made it 2 days, because originally people thought, oh, all they're doing is just stretching it out. But you literally, it was nonstop both days. You know what I mean? It was no real.
There was no breaks. There was no breaks except for lunch.
Yeah, right. That was it. Otherwise you literally, if you weren't talking, meeting somebody, next thing you know, it was time for the next thing and blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, the day is over with. It was just very, very long weekend, but it was a very fruitful weekend too. So, yeah.
And it was difficult. I don't know how y'all took it, as in, do you want to watch the panels or you want to go talk to the devs? And I feel like there was kind of kind of a tug of war between the two, because you don't know what to talk to them about their demo. And if you go see their demo, do you have time to go talk to them?
Right.
I wish they carved out a block to like have a meet and greet with all the devs or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is evolving. Each time we've gone to this, they've made it better, and they've also learned some things. And like one of the things we talked to Elf about was where we were at. Remember there was a big screen, remember in the big area out there where we were at in the marketplace? We were the only ones lucky enough to be able to see that, because where our table was, there was a gap between the walls and we could see the screen. But the problem was the audio wasn't that great. So Fastcart and I would try to put our earbuds in, but then there'd be like a 10-second delay. So all we could just see is visuals, because people were coming by throughout the whole time. But we felt bad because people who were on the other side facing this way couldn't see anything. And so they missed out completely unless they took out their phone. But again, it was, we knew that when we worked the table, we weren't going to see the event. That was kind of like the thing that came along with the turf. So we didn't get upset about it. We were like, okay, this is what we got to do. We're here to do this. Like any other convention. Sometimes people at conventions, that's what you do. You work the table. But I'm glad that we did, because the amount of contact we had with the community and other content creators and people who had questions was well worth me not being in that room. Don't get me wrong. The room was electrifying when we did go in during the opening. Well, we didn't go in for the opening, but we did go in for the closing. There's definitely excitement in the room, but we had just as much fun outside. You know, I didn't feel like we really lost out on anything. I just got a lot of videos that I got to play catch up on. Fortunately, I downloaded both days on Twitch, so I've got even the stuff that's in between that CIG is getting rid of. So I'll be able to watch the whole thing now. But
so
it was a good time. Sure.
For you at being at the booth, I'm curious, and this, I guess, is a question for everybody. Did anybody you felt bored? Like there was any time there was like downtime? It was nonstop, at least for me, from the bar citizens to the moment I went to bed and woke back up.
No, there was never a time where more than 3-4 minutes somebody else wasn't coming by. You know, Fast Cart and I would be talking about something or whatever. We get a little break to look at the screen and see what was on the screen. I'd be like, what are they talking about? You know, by the time I started figuring it out, then somebody else would come by. I didn't even get to walk around and visit the other booths. I got to go to there were 20 booths, and I got to go to maybe 3 of them, maybe 4. I got to go see the guy who was doing the Xi'an writing, and I got to see BBG. Thank you so much for the 500 bits. I got to go by Imperium. I got to go by Test, and I got to go by Soul Armada. That was it. I didn't get to hardly visit with anybody else. I didn't get to go see Sigelian. There's a whole lot of people I didn't get to go see because it was just constant, like you said. So.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even at a booth, and I still didn't get a chance to go to all the other booths.
I know what you mean. All right, North, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All righty. Last but not least, let's bring in Pops, and we're gonna move on to this last category. Pops, you there?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just want to mention one thing. Pyro is dirtier than you think. Man, I'm walking around and that man, I felt like all right, you know how we have the health pins.
Yeah.
I feel like they should invent a tetanus shot.
Well, Colossal told me that I could no longer talk about Hurston anymore. That's all I'm going to say. He said, don't you dare say anything negative about Hurston again after Pyro. Right. So everybody's talking about how they feel like they need a shower after they've been there. So I appreciate that, Pops.
It just feels, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Pops.
That's one thing. But the other thing I wanted that you did mention is the sound when the guns and things went off. YouTube doesn't do it any justice.
Yeah,
they're live. Those shots were just, I mean, they were just hitting you in your chest.
Yeah,
because oh man, YouTube is like 10%.
Yeah,
of what it is. All right.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right, Fist, I'm going to put you on hold, brother, because I said I was going to change to the next topic because I'm getting behind on my time and I got to give myself some room. So you can stick in there if you want to jump in on this next subject. All right, guys, so that's it for Cloud Imperium Games. Let's bring up the very last thing here, and that's the importance of the community. The people that you get to meet, we mentioned this earlier, our community is made up of a lot of different folks. But Bar Citizen, CitizenCon, and this are all kind of tied together when it comes down to the community. And the community also goes beyond just us as backers, but it does include the people from Cloud Imperium. They are a part of that community too. Some of you guys know many of them have even been backers who became employees later on and started working for the company. And they will let you know that they are still backers, and many of them who are employees became backers of the game. But there's an aspect of community that takes place. The reason why I have this picture here is this aspect of community that we're all a part of this Star Citizen community. But I also want to talk about the Soul Citizens community too. But here you've got CIG people, there's a mixture of folks here. There's content creators. And I really want to talk about that because the reason why I titled this show The Importance of CitizenCon is this. What makes this unique is there aren't too many games where you have people who were there from the very beginning. I mean, the very beginning, like when this thing was just an idea, when there was no studio, when there were only 7 people getting together to put together 8 people or 13. I forget what the number was. It was 8 or 13 people that were there in the beginning to begin a company. And then those people who've taken that ride all the way over the years, right? It's been, 11 years now of taking this journey with them. And for you old school people, you'll remember back in the days of Wingman's Hangar and Around the Verse and Reverse the Verse and Citizens of the Verse and glitched. And I mean, God, if I named all the different things that we've ridden through over the years leading up to where we are now. And I kind of had as I mentioned earlier when I started the show, the last few weeks I had been doing my shows talking about the state of the community, the emotional, mental, psychological state of the community, that we were in a really weird space. And I couldn't figure out why. But this is what my hypothesis is, you all. I'm not a psychiatrist, so take that into consideration. But here's my hypothesis. My hypothesis is that for 3 years, 4 years for those of us in the States, but for 3 years, we had not connected with the community. Everything we had been doing was virtual. COVID impacted people's lives in many ways, right? Education, homes, families, jobs, but it also had an impact on us as a community. And it was something that you wouldn't think of in relation to a game. But there was a disconnect that took place. And I think Colossal and some other people came in earlier and talked about how celebrating us and celebrating what we do, even if you don't go to the event, there's a certain energy that comes away from that when we do it, whether there's a few people or a lot, whether it's at a local bar citizen or at the larger bar citizen. And my observation was after I came back from this weekend, it clicked with me why people were feeling a certain kind of way.
Very happy to be here.
You know, to me, we were associating it with game features and bugs and 318 and blah, 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 blah. Don't get me wrong. All those things were important. But I also think a lot of it had to do with that CIG was not connecting with us and we weren't connecting with them. That both needed to still happen to give us energy in what we were doing and what we were believing in, because we're trying to do something that's never been done before. Even the fact that we have this symbiotic relationship is very unique in gaming. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of other games, BlizzardCon and other stuff. They have games and the gamers come out and sell. I'm not talking about that. Those were studios that were established in place, that have been around. But I'm talking about for a group of people who've been around, and mind you, those companies are not backed by your dollars. You buy a product and that's it. You know, you pay $60-$50 for the game and that's all you contribute. If you buy some DLCs, that's it. But I'm talking about people who've actually invested in the company, not as investors, but believers in what they're trying to do. And I think that when we went over these last 3 years, that got messed with, for lack of a way of putting it. It got messed with, and we didn't understand how much it impacted us. I talked with one of the staff members at CIG. This was before the between the end of the convention and the after party. And I won't say the person's name, but the person said candidly that those 3 years impacted them just as much as it impacted us. And they even felt that the fact that we had not been connecting with community had an impact with their staff, with their people that work there, because when they connect with us, they get a certain type of energy. It reminds them of what it is they're trying to do. And when we meet with them, it reminds us of what they're trying to do. But when you go 3 years and everything's virtual, and for those of you who know what I'm talking about, if you work at a job, it's nice to work virtual at home, you know, and stay home and watch everything on Zoom or whatever, or Microsoft or whatever. But there's something different about going to somebody's office, knocking on the door and saying, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Or somebody coming to your desk. And it's the same thing here, that there is a relationship that's really vital to the success of Star Citizen and CitizenCon and all the stuff that we're doing in Squadron 42. And without it, without the community, not just us, but the community, which you see on the picture, without all of us being in it together, it gets funky. It really gets funky. So that's my speech. That's my sermon about how I feel about community, okay? And I'm going to show you guys a little something about community too, and then let's see, then we're going to talk about it. So let me show you guys a video. I'm going to show you the video now, okay? So check this out. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. I had to change the music. I made this video, I dedicated this video to the people from Soul Citizens, the team members, I should say, the team of Soul Team. I call them the Soul Team. I did a video for them. And I use the music from Star Trek Enterprise, you know, Faith of the Heart, which is, it really goes cool with it. To me, it does. But I can't do that on here because it'll get scratched on Twitch or YouTube. So I'm going to just play it. And and the music behind here is the music that New Soul Sounds created for our intro. But I'm going to play that for you guys, and then we'll come together and talk about community, okay?
sense your enthusiasm. I've got a job for you if you're looking to keep busy. Here are the details.
What we are is a group of gamers who back and support the game, but particularly of diversity. When Fast Cart and I first got this going, we talked about being able to bring African American, because we would go to the conventions and see 5 of us out of 600, but we knew we were out there. But ultimately, we decided to expand diversity into not only just being African American, but LGBTQ, straight, age. I'm 60. We have 20-year-olds in our group, male, female, and everybody pretty much has a different feeling about the game and very supportive of the project.
Soul Citizen! Beautiful.
Your banner is terrible.
Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. That is us, the Soul Citizens. You know, one of the things that I do want to drop in here is the fact that it was really great to be able to get together with the Soul team and have them come out. There were 3 of us, myself, Fast Cart, and Gio, who had been to CitizenCons before. Lefty, thank you so much for the 10 gift subs. We really appreciate that. Stacy Bertrand, thank you for the follow. And Echo Zeppelin, thank you for the follow as well. I'm sorry I missed you guys earlier. You guys give some love to Lefty from Test Squadron. Lefty was there also. They were working the table over with Test Squadron. They had a good group of people. They were over there by the Dragonfly bike. They kept busy throughout the weekend too. But I wanted to talk about that just a little bit about the community. Let me bring in some folks and then we'll share a little bit more. I think I'm bringing Fist to Face, then I'll bring in Pops in Space. And let's talk about this thing about community, Star Citizen. Fist, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Let me understand your question before I answer. We're good. Okay, can you? Because when you pulled me in, had 2 things in my ear. We're good.
Sure.
Can you?
Oh, well, we were just talking about the ingredients that make community. You know, it's not just us as backers, but CIG's people, their employees are just as much a part of the community, and why it's important for us, like I was saying about the fact that we hadn't met the last 3 years, and then how that kind of may have been what psychologically was messing with us because we had not been connecting, and that this CitizenCon was important for us to reconnect again.
And I will agree. I think, you know, for me, I know there's other cons out there, like, you know, BlizzCon, you know, TwitchCon, stuff like that. But as far as this specifically to the gaming and how the way this makes the community, you know, this, to me, like I said, again, being my first experience of being at a con, having the enthusiasm from both the devs and your backers.
Mm-hmm.
That synergy, like we talked about before, to me, that was the main ingredient. Because, like you said, being able to sit down with them, like I said, I had a full blown conversation with Yogi about audio, just talking about audio in general, and about Claudius. You know, being able to do that is something. And you would ask yourself, can you do that with EA?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that with BioWare? Can you do that with Bethesda?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have that ingredient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that at BlizzCon, maybe you might have that ingredient to go to the BlizzCon and be able to do that, and you know, so on and so forth, or maybe PAX East, PAX West, or any other the cons. You might be able to meet them, but for me, from my experience, from seeing this, that being able to talk and them be just and for the most part, them wanting to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the extent of what they can talk about, they're enthused as just as much as we're enthused. Like Buster told the story about how the way, you know, I think it was Brian Chambers, she said that, you know, he said to her, or I think it was Sean Tracy, he said, listen, this is your game. This is your game. You know, and that made her cry genuinely, you know, and these are the things that makes us feel a part of the game, not just as players and not just as people who are given money
right.
to something to play, but we're a part of the game.
That's good. That's
good. And that's the major ingredients that I haven't seen in any other game.
It makes it a very unique experience, right? And
exactly.
You know, the fact that we take the journey with them because they're evolving, you know, we're evolving as gamers. Watching the game evolve is all kind of tied together. And again, I feel like the fact that that connection had not happened, which is why it was so important. I think that's one of the reasons why so many people turned out for those when they were doing the global bar citizens, why there was so many people coming out and attending those events, because we just had not connected in so long. And I think that this kind of re-energized everybody needed this boost. They needed it. We needed it, not just because of pyro, you know what I mean? Not just because of server meshing.
Yeah.
Those were the byproduct of it, but you know, it just affirmed the fact of what the community has been able to do. So, okay.
Right. And just one last thing, you know, I would like to say this, you know, being that this is such a important thing to a lot of people in the community and a large majority of us. And I would like to say, you know, just for those out there that really value this, protect it. You know, protect it in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, if you value this game and you value the community of this game, protect it.
That's a good point. Okay. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right.
All righty. Last was bring in Pops in Space. Pops, you there?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
You know, to me, this, as you know, as we spoke a bit earlier, about this being a large step for me to even come out. And like I said, you know, your encouragement, Fast Cart's encouragement, you know, Colossal. I've received so much love, and I'll tell you a brief thing. I'm walking through the courtyard out there, and his voice comes to, Pops, come here, give me a hug. And it's Verdi. Now, we already hugged. But she just said, I gotta get another one. And she, you know, she said, Pops, I love you. I'm like, oh, Verdi. You know, yeah, you're gonna have me crying. And Kitty and Audie and Buster and Maiden, we, you know, it was so much. The community, we stand behind a game that, like you said, we're invested in a game that is about the people that play the game, about the fun. And we have also rode that wave that Chris rode. Oh, y'all don't make no sense. What are y'all doing? This is a scam. This is that. And have that energy come off of this CitizenCon, and like you said earlier, and Colossal said, y'all should have no more salt after this, even though we know they're gonna find some.
Right.
You shouldn't have it after this. They've proven server meshing. Squadron 42 in its final state may take a year, may take a year and a half or so, whatever to finish and final polish it.
Yeah.
But it's there. We got to play Pyro. I'm quite sure they wish they would have had it ready a week ago, fourth, but it's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
We're going to get it in our hands. And believing in something, it's not just about believing in the game, but about believing in the community and the people around. And I don't want to choke up too much.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, Pops. No, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that people have been saying, I've been seeing a lot of headlines, industry people and stuff saying, they did it. It's finally here. They pulled it off. Amidst all the uncertainty and everything else, there's a slow affirmation to that, even though it's taken this much time, it is going to happen, and it is going to happen. And for those of us who were there, we saw it. For those who are testing it now, they've seen it. And so pretty soon it'll be in the community's hands, like you said, and then they'll see it, it'll relieve a lot of tension and concern that people may have had. Okay, let me get a couple more in. Thanks, Pops. I appreciate
I just want to say one more thing.
Yeah, one more. Go ahead.
One more real quick. I can't say everybody's name, so I'll just say Soul Citizens. I love all of y'all.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Last one of y'all.
We appreciate that.
So
Pops.
much to me.
We appreciate that, my brother.
All right.
Take care, man. All righty. Good stuff. All right, let's bring Nazareth. Nazareth is back. Nazareth. Let's see. He's unmuting probably. Let's see. Nazareth. Oh, Nazareth. Okay. Nazareth might have stepped away. In the meantime, I'm going to leave him here until I to talk about this a little bit. Once again, I do want to say that we really appreciate all of you. Those of you who are here, maybe it's for your first time here. Thank you for joining us with Soul Voices. This is our time where we allow people from the Star Citizen community to come in and talk one-on-one about the various topics that we talk about. I should have done this a half hour ago, but I was so busy. But people can come and click and come into our Discord. And if they've got thoughts on the topics that we pick, we always are more than welcome to have you come in. So anybody that's in chat can do that. I do want to say this. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. You guys have been supporting us for so long, and we are a part of the community. And we want you to know that you're a part of our community as well. Let me bring in Fast Cart before I wrap, because he just popped in. FC?
Yeah, you're just wrapping up there. Yeah, I wanted to echo everything you just said. We have Nazareth is back, but yeah, just wanted to say thank you all for the support. Thank you all for coming to our booth. Thank you all for watching our stream. Just thank you in general for everything everything everybody's been doing. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Definitely. Okay, no problem. Why don't you stay here, Fast Car? Let me bring Nazareth in real quick because he's back. Nazareth, you there? Gabe. I don't know what happens. If you're hearing us in Nazareth, we're not getting audio from you. If you are, there's nothing lighting up. All right.
No, I gotta give a shout out to the greatest, because I knew who you were, man. Just the spelling on your name in Twitch chat messed me up. That's what it was.
Oh.
The greatest. He got to hang out with us a lot. So
cool.
Thank everybody for hanging out and coming to the booth.
Absolutely. Yeah, we really do appreciate it. There were so many people who came by and just wished us well. Told us that they were, excited to meet us and that they watched the show. I can't tell you how many people said, "Oh, we watch your show and we watch it on YouTube and blah, blah, blah." I mean, you guys were so sweet to us and so nice to us, which is important to us. And I'm going to talk about this tomorrow too a little bit, but since Fast Card's here, I'll talk about it now. One of the things that I want to clarify, and I have to clarify this because when I gave my little speech, when we were asked to speak, I said that we were a group of diversity, and the diversity is beyond color. The diversity is a bunch of people. Now, what we are doing as Soul Citizens is bringing diversity to the Star Citizen community. We are not an org, so I want to clarify that because I said it during the speech.
Yes.
People think that we are an org. We're not. We are not exclusive per se. we are a group of African Americans bringing ourselves and our culture to this community that we think is a really great community. And we've been very well received over the years, as you can see from the pictures. We've just got a lot of friends out there who support and love us. Unfortunately, there are some people who felt a certain kind of way. They weren't too happy about us being a part of the community, or what they saw was race. But what I said in my speech was that we're inclusive in the sense of those people who are sometimes forgotten about. I'm 60. I said that in the thing. I'm an older people. A lot of people don't think this boomer is playing this game, right? We have people in their 20s. Some people want to say something about millennials, or LGBTQ, straight, whatever the case may be, male, female. The object is that we are part of that community, and our community is predominantly supported by people who are not African American. They get it. They understand why we're here, and they've welcomed us into this community over the years, and we've always felt very welcome in this community and supported by this community. So to you, we say thank you. We really, really, really appreciate all the love, all the care that you guys have expressed, the donations, the chatting, the messages, the support, the thumbs up that you guys have given to our team, because it makes us feel very welcome in this community. And we hold the line just like everybody else does. But we really appreciate the support, and we don't want you all to think that we underestimate that. We really, really do appreciate all the folks who come and support us with what we do, and especially the Cloud Imperium Games. They gave us a couple cool shout outs, Fast Cart, unexpectedly. Some of you guys saw the section where they showed our mug. If you guys want to know what the joke is about that mug that you saw with Disco, there was a joke to it. About a month before CitizenCon, Disco was calling us out or shouting us out on SCL, and he forgot our name. He called us the Soul Friends, and then he remembered and said Soul Citizens. So we had a mug. Do I have it here? Yeah. We had this mug made for him. I only have a couple of these, mind you, because we can't sell these. But this is the mug that you guys saw on his desk. It said Soul Citizens during the con, but on the back, facing him, it says Soul Friends. So he laughed when he saw it, and unbeknownst to us, he decided to put it on his desk during CitizenCon, which made us...
We were all excited when we saw it.
Which we were very excited about and laughed about. We didn't expect him to do that. It was just a gift
No,
to
not
him.
at all.
And also in the video you guys saw, there's a photo of me standing with Chris Roberts holding a wine decanter. And on that wine decanter, it had inscribed, Radagast 2953, presented to Chris Roberts for your quote-unquote persistence, from the Soul Citizens. And he laughed and he loved it and took a photo with it. So it was great. We had a great weekend meeting you guys, especially, once again reconnecting with CIG's employees, and it was a good time. I'm going to make one more last call out for Nazareth, because I see he unmuted. Are you here, Nazareth?
I am here.
He's here. All righty. Go ahead and toss it in, Nazareth.
Windows and Discord decided that they didn't want to be friends anymore.
We figured that was what it was. What is it you want to share real quick?
Just as a perspective of, I haven't been able to go to CitizenCon yet. I will probably make if not concerted effort, but I will basically show up if it's on this continent again.
Gotcha.
The amount of energy that we get as remote viewers of CitizenCon from all don't want to tear up. Done enough of that over CitizenCon this year. Of all the people, all the community that get to go, that we get this kind of remote meeting of the devs. We get all the photos, all the after videos and streams of recounting their experience. It probably, I imagine, because I haven't been there yet, it's not as good as being there, but it is one of those things that I've never seen anywhere else, where it's, even in other communities, as you've been talking about, there are other communities, sure, about games and things, but Star Citizen and the community that they've been able to grow around an idea and not a game has been completely changed, because we're not here for a product necessarily. We're here for people. We're here for each other, because we showed up when there wasn't a product,
right,
because of the idea. And And two things I want to mention is I think the best quote from CitizenCon is relentless optimism.
Yep.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys, the entire Soul team. Like, you guys are a beacon of positivity, and you have this relentless optimism that has not wavered an inch in all of the years you've been following the project. And I hope to capture a glimmer of your guys' positivity.
Wow. Well, that's very sweet of you and very kind of you to say. We really do appreciate that. And again, the community has been just really great to us. I mean, one of the first people who really just got behind us was, there were a couple people. I don't want to start naming people because I'll get in trouble. But Paul Shelley was like you, Nazareth. You know how Paul is. I don't have to tell you. Paul's just very, open to folks coming on and giving voice, right, to people in the community. And a lot of times people are very protective of that. They don't want to necessarily let other people come out because they worry about other people outshining them or whatever. But Paul has just always been there. So special shout out to him because he definitely lifts up the community. He lifts up content creators. He lifts up CIG. He's one of the more objective people who are out there. Even though people think he's a white knight, I've heard Paul go off about CIG several times. But in Nazareth, you've been out there for a while. People who've just really invested themselves into this community to share what they can. It's just always been great. So we appreciate you as well. And again, thank you for dropping by today, man. I'm happy that you came by and saw us. Really appreciate it.
Well, I can't wait
real
to
quick,
see all the
are you Nazareth on Twitch or you go by a different name on Twitch?
The Noah Forge on both YouTube and Twitch.
Okay, so I shouted out the wrong person. My bad. I'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, make sure you shout out the right one.
I'm not here for anything like that. I'm here for the community.
No, thank you. Well, that's
and
what
to
we
speak with amazing people.
No problem. Thanks, Nazareth. I'm glad you got your audio. Glad to hear from you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right. Nazareth. Okay. All right, let's get ready to wrap things up. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here today. I got Fast Card in the room with me, which is great. As you guys know, today is PodSat Saturday, where we support other content creators. In particular, Paul Shelley with the Captain's Table, who's on at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, about an hour following our show. And then, is it an hour? Yeah, about an hour after our show. And then after that, Relay. The OGs of Star Citizen, they will be on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you guys can go by and check out both those streams and fill your Saturday with nothing but good Star Citizen conversations and content. Also, starting tomorrow, we are going to begin our review of CitizenCon. As you guys know, there was so much, right, Fast Cart? There was so much information.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, we can't condense it by any means. So we're going to figure out something. But over the next few weeks, all during the month of November, we're going to be breaking down 2 sessions per week. So tomorrow we're going to give it's going to be like more of an overview and reaction show tomorrow. And we're going to do Star Engine. That's all we're going to be dealing with tomorrow is the opening of Star Engine. But then after that, we're going to be doing 2 of the sessions per week leading up to IAE. So if you guys want to go over that with us, give your thoughts, hear our thoughts about what we saw on camera. Half of us went to the convention, half of us didn't. So it'll be interesting to hear perspectives from both sides of what we saw over that weekend. But hopefully you guys will be able to join us.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you want to talk about the fundraiser real quick?
Oh, yeah, I do. Thank you, Fast Cart, for bringing that up. Give me 2 seconds here because I am truly on the wrong screen. If I want to do a raid, give me 1 second here, guys. Why did I get so confused and so lost?
Well, I can do some of while you do that.
Go ahead.
Yes,
I
want to thank everybody for donating to the fundraiser. We started back in June, or the first weekend in June, until October 22nd. We raised $6,170. That's a crazy amount. And I thank everybody again for all the money that they donated and the shout out and the publicity that you gave the fundraiser. We really appreciate it. But yeah, we'll be donating that soon, if not already. Yeah. So thank you.
Yep. There is, we have already, we culminated that last week, and you guys just did such a great job with helping us get to that goal. You have no idea how happy we were about that. Once again, we also got to give a shout out to our anonymous what was it? Angel donor?
Angel dinner.
Yeah,
Angel donor.
Angel
yeah.
dinner. Our angel donor who donated probably 50%, if not 60% of the ships that we gave away. Again, special shout out to them for just being so generous to the community and also having a big heart for St. Jude Children's Hospital. So we really want to appreciate them as well. Okay, that is it. We are going to get ready to send you guys over to Jake Acapella. You guys know Jake from Cloud Imperium, former Relay, or still part of Relay. But Jake is celebrating his birthday, having a birthday stream. Give some love over there to Jake Acapella. Gotta love this one. Jake is the one who handles our roadmap and all that great information. So send some love that way. Thank you guys. Don't forget our show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be going over Star Engine, CitizenCon. Star Jump Grim is going to be our guest tomorrow as well. And hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you guys there then. Until then, peace, love, and soul. See you later. Ciao.